So I'm back here at Presque Isle State Park. I'm right by Beach 1 here, right where the park begins. And as a matter of fact, down that path there is where you get to the main road and Sarah's campground and the diner. But we're here at the beach. We got a beach hazard statement because of the wind and a small craft advisory out there on the lake, which is because of the wind. So that said, it is kicking up some pretty gnarly waves out here on the lake. And with that said, one of the rare things that happens is with these big waves that are getting kicked up, there are people actually out there surfing. So that's a rarity out here. That doesn't happen too much, but we get to see it today a little bit. It's been a pretty active morning with the wind. Just look at all the rocks that kicked up along the shoreline here too. So many rocks and all the trees that have littered this beach. But yeah, you got people out there paddleboarding and others trying to catch some waves. Just waiting for that right one. This is something I'd see down the Outer Banks, not here in Erie, Pennsylvania. They're trying though. There he goes. Wish I had a board. So I know how to surf. I wish I had a board so I could do it. See, and just like that, the wind stops and the waves slow down for a minute, but it'll just pick right back up and it'll get crazy again. This is probably the best spot to go surfing too, because you don't have the breakwaters here at this beach like you do at the other beaches further up the peninsula. You can actually see them way down there in the distance where they begin. But pretty choppy day out there. A lot of whitecaps everywhere out there in the water from the wind or storms out over the lake. I'm sure you can see it. There's a storm cell there, raining pretty good. Look how those waves just kick right back up again. Yeah, I can't believe how many rocks are kicked up on this beach here. However, these are the best kind though. These flat rocks like this, where they're really basically just flat. They don't have any shape to them. These make for the best skipping stones out there. Now, naturally, throwing them out into this water, they ain't going to skip very well. But look at this. Even as we get closer to the water, look how many are right at the edge here. And part of that is due to the fact that Presque Isle State Park, they don't groom these beaches here, hence why all the trees here, they don't groom these beaches, not like they do up there. Up there, they groom them to get these rocks out of the shoreline here, especially in the swimming beaches, to make it a little bit easier. And that's why the breakwaters are there too, to keep from erosion. But it doesn't do very well. You know, I'm curious with how the waves are kicked up down here. I want to see what they look like up at Lighthouse Beach. So we're going to go up to the Presque Isle Lighthouse. I've done a video there in the past. And we're going to go to that beach and see how it looks there and do a couple of shots of the lighthouse from the beach. Okay, so here we are at the Presque Isle Lighthouse. You guys have probably seen us in some of my older videos in the past. While the lighthouse is closed to visits this year, you can't climb it this year, understandably so. Next year we'll be able to provide a video from the top of the lighthouse again and around it. But my main focus on this video was to show you guys the lighthouse from the beach. So we're going to go down that beach access where those people are walking, and we're going to walk around out there and see how the waves are kicking up out on Lake Erie and see how this looks from there, because it sets up for one of the best photos you can get of the lighthouse. So let's go over to the beach and check it out. You'll see that along Presque Isle, there are numerous little paths like this that go to the beach. A lot of areas are places you can just park your car and just walk right up over the dune and go to the beach, but here's one of those little paths right next to the lighthouse. Well, the waves are kicking up a little bit, not that badly though. And the breakwaters are the reason for that. They help reduce the amount of water making its way to the beach like this in the terms of these big waves. They were built there to help reduce erosion, but as you can see right here, it didn't really do very well. Look how small this beach is here. It's gone all the way to the dune line. And in the past, I would have been able to walk around that jetty there. That's going to be a little hard to do, so that's okay. We'll go ahead and do that anyway. And see how it looks on the other side of this tree line. Well, this is going to be a lot harder than I thought. I just got on the other side of the rock wall there, which, by the way, got exposed because of erosion. They had all these big rocks buried under the sand. They're all exposed because of the erosion. And as you can see behind me, the beach is also completely gone. So I got to get over to that area there, but first I'm going to wait for these people to finish crossing so I can work my way across because the beach is completely gone. This is definitely setting up for some big waves here though. Thing is, you wouldn't want to surf here because with the current going that way, you could end up possibly going into that and getting really hurt or killed. This is crazy. The beach is completely gone. Okay, so I decided against walking along the edge of that dune to go to the other side where that breakwater is so I can give you a shot of the lighthouse. And it's simply because everything is so inconsistent right now. You get a big gust of wind and then all of a sudden you have a big, huge wave that comes in and goes all the way up the dune. And because of that, I don't want to chance trying to go across there. It's not even so much getting wet. I don't want to get swept off my feet and go out into the water, especially since I don't have a change of clothes or a towel. So I would rather not do that. I'd rather just go back out to the road and walk on the other side of the lighthouse to the beach there. So join me as we try to work our way to the lighthouse beach. We're right here by the light, and we're just going to walk out to the roadway, go up the path a little bit, and just come out on the other side of the light. It was just too dangerous to try and attempt that. I mean, if I was wearing my swimsuit, or if I at least had a change of clothes in the car and knew I would get wet, that would be fine. But I don't want to chance it, especially because one good wave can just knock you off your feet and drag you out into the water. So it's not worth it, and we'll just go to the other side. I just noticed this trail that it looks like people kind of made from walking this way on the outside of the fence. So let's see if we can get to the beach going this way. Can't go through the grounds of the lighthouse. They are closed and they are not accessible. I'm not going to hop over the fence as easy as I could. I'm not going to do that. But at least you get a pretty awesome view of the Presque Isle Lighthouse, courtesy that new wide-angle lens on the new camera. I love it. Nice little trail. I imagine it would go around the fence and there's the beach access back there. Okay, so now we're on the other side. All we just did was walk around the outside perimeter of the fence. We're at the beach access and now you get to see it right behind me. But I'll give you guys the money shot from the beach, or what's left of it. There isn't much of a beach left. In all of my years of coming here, I have never seen the beach this badly eroded. This is the Lighthouse Beach, or what was left of it. You see a couple of people trying to walk across. Again, I didn't want to chance it because I've seen some of these waves just come all the way up and rip chunks of the dune out. So maybe if I was in my swim trunks, I wouldn't care, or if I had to change clothes, but not today. But what is amazing though is I've taken a few photos of the lighthouse behind me, right back there, from the beach. And if I had to make a guess, I was probably standing about halfway out there where the breakwaters are, about halfway out there, because that's how far the beach actually went. And I don't know if you can see it on camera very well, but out there behind the breakwaters, you can see under the water how shallow it is, because you see a brown color in the water. That's the sandbar that is up higher out there, and it goes down here and picks back up right at the edge of the beach here. So there is a sandbar out there, but it's really far out there, and even though I know that's not going to be very shallow, I'm not going out there and going into like chest deep or even head deep water. Not today. And it just stinks because normally I would stand down there to give you the shots of the lighthouse back there. So this is the best I can do, is this money shot right here. It's still pretty beautiful though. Yeah, when I was on the other side of the beach, back there by that jetty, I saw this part over here by this breakwater, and I thought if I go around a lighthouse that's close enough in proximity that I could go out that far to where those people are walking out there at the end of that breakwater and walk around and show you the lighthouse. I mean, I'm still going to go over there. I think there's a path along the top of this dune which I can walk on the backside of it, because you don't want to walk on the edge of the dune because it could break, and these are here to try and protect things like the lighthouse. So without these dunes here, this water would be to the roadway probably. So we'll go over there, get another couple of shots of the lighthouse, and just remain to be mesmerized by how much of this beach is gone. It's sad. All right, so we're halfway across the dune. We walked along a little path in there, and boy, it just gives you another great shot of the light. Also from up here, you could just see the wave action just take a toll on the dunes. Each wave just does a little bit more damage. And with these high winds that we have out here today, these dunes are not going to do very well. You see right there, there was a big one there, took out a chunk of the dune. Not a lot, a little bit, but still, damage being done. Now, that's why there's a big mountain load of sand by the North Pier Light, because that's there to re-nourish these beaches. But with the virus going on, that hasn't really been the biggest thing to do this year. And I know they'll fix this. This beach will be back again. It's just, it's truly amazing to see the damage that it's done. Now see where I'm standing, I'm just a few feet away from these breakwaters behind me, which when these were put here, this beach wasn't. And by that I mean just how this sand comes all the way out here to this breakwater behind me. The beach should be back there, where the rest of the beach should be, but with erosion and the ever-shifting sands and the movement of this peninsula, the sand from that beach there is what's here. And if it isn't from that beach going here, it's further down the peninsula, and this sand is from beaches further north. Or should I say west, not north. Further west, which would be back that way. But how about that shot now? Isn't that a shot? Got one heck of a view of Lake Erie and the beaches. Here's that view looking west on the beach. The wind is blowing awfully hard at me, so hopefully you guys can hear me. That's what's pushing all the sand that way. Now you would think on a day like this it would fill that area back up. Look at all of our seagull friends. Yeah, those are some big waves. These are the kinds of waves you see at the Outer Banks. Wow. I kind of wish I had my swim trunks because I would be jumping into those ones. Of course, I don't want to get hit by one of those trees floating around. You see branches floating around. Wow. Okay, last place on our stop today brings us to Horseshoe Pond, where all of these boathouses are out on the water. These used to be popular up here many years ago, and over the course of time they were limited and were forced to be moved to this little pond here. They call it Horseshoe Pond, but Horseshoe Bay, I guess, whatever. But this is where all these boathouses are. There's about 20 of them left anyway, and up until I think just last year, the year before, they didn't have to pay taxes on these homes. The downfall to these homes are you can only get to them by boat. You have to park your car on the road, like back there, or like where I have the Z, or even further back. And you take a boat across, which, okay, is fine. That's not that big of a deal. It's when you have to go underwater and check the barrels and what you're using to keep these houses afloat. A lot of them use like those 55-gallon drums for like oil or other chemicals, and some use the barges and whatnot for boats, or those big cylinders that they use for those types of like pontoons. You know what I mean? I can't think of the correct term. So you have to inspect them, and in the wintertime it's kind of hard, especially if the lake is frozen over, and think about how ice cold the water is. So that's a downfall, but what's nice is you never have to lock your doors. No one's just going to show up. It's great for if you don't like people, you know, door-to-door salesmen. You'll never have one come to your front door. So, but anyway, less blabbering. Let me show you this place. Yeah, you just look all around Horseshoe Pond here. The Coast Guard was that orange roof building, red roof building on the left. You see just how windy it is today, that house right there is moving around. Now they are anchored down, so they won't crash into any other home, but they do have room to move. That's so cool though. Even if I didn't, like, if I couldn't live here, I would love to rent one for a week, or even like a weekend or 3-day weekend. Some of these people do rent them out for the weekend, to my understanding. Someone told me that a while back. I just don't know how you go about finding out which ones are available to rent. And normally when one goes up for sale, it gets snatched up immediately. That's to my understanding. I could be wrong though. But you see just how windy it is here, even in the pond, how it's moving these houses all around. Way down there, that's the Coast Guard. It's still beautiful out here though. Okay, I lied when I said the houseboats were our final stop. Our final stop is here at the North Pier Light. But just before we get to that, admire that beautiful Dale Earnhardt Jr. supercharged Monte Carlo. Yeah, I love my Z24, but I love that. That is a badass car. Whew, man, That's still like an intimidator, but even that would be nice. I love that with the E on there, just like Dale used on his paint schemes. Dale Jr. used in 03 and 04. Beautiful. I'll take that any day. Okay, so as I walk out towards the pier itself, to walk out towards the lighthouse, it is very, very windy out here. So windy, it's kicking up water all over the place. And I mean, if you look back there, you see how hazy it is? That's actually water blowing up out of the lake. So it is pretty intense, but it's still beautiful and it's still worth walking out here for a minute. Hopefully you guys can hear me. It is very windy. All that water blowing around too, just that mist. Little huskies. Look at that. Yeah, we're just walking out and it is very windy, like I was saying, so hopefully you guys can hear me. Don't know what they're going after. Is the light, the North Pier light. The wind is blowing so hard, it's hard to face the other way because we're getting blown out. Well, hopefully you guys can hear me. I know it's awfully windy out here, but it's so beautiful out here, even on a windy day like this. With all this water blowing over me, I'm sure you can see it on my glasses, but even over there, still the water's blowing pretty quickly, but you can always find something to do here. Even on a rainy day, you can just drive around the park and just check out the nature, the wildlife out here. It's still nice. In the wintertime, same thing. You can enjoy this park year-round. But I'll tell you what, this is definitely one of the windier days I've seen up here in a long time. So it was cool seeing surfers out. That's the first time I've seen them up here in a long time. I think the last time I personally saw surfers out here was when Sandy came up the East Coast and churned this place up pretty big time. We had some waves coming up over the end of that pier back there by the light. And it made for a big wind and rain event and brought lots of waves with it. So this isn't nearly that bad, but still pretty intense. So, but I wouldn't have it any other way. And I'm glad you guys were able to join me on this. Kayla was working today. That's why she couldn't join me. And I figured today was too good of a day to spend it at home and do nothing. So I wanted to go outdoors and go to this place. I freaking love it here. And I hope to see you guys around. So thanks for joining me, everybody. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you give it a like. If you're not a subscriber, please subscribe to our channel for more content. And as always, everybody, take care, stay awesome, have a Kmartlicious day on Kayla's behalf, and just enjoy your park. If you can't make it to this one, go to a park that you love nearby and just make the best of it. Here comes that Coast Guard again, by the way. All right, everybody, take care. Bye.